Right now we're at Fairfield County, right outside of Columbus, man, on the Empowerment Workshop Tour. Myself, Cardell Sims, Brandon Lasses, man, all formerly incarcerated individuals going in, knock this workshop out. Entrepreneurship, resume building, vision boarding, and a whole lot of resources for the men that's incarcerated. You know, this is something that's never really been done before on the tour going throughout the country, man. You about to lay it down. And so, documentary coming soon. Peace.
How many of y'all got a vision for yourself when you get out? Vision, put your hands up. You got a vision. What you know you're gonna do when you get out?
I said, well, I'm gonna get back to what I know. I'm going to treat my incarceration like I'm in school. And that's exactly what I did.
I took the franchise from 1.4 million to 2.6 million in 18 months. They put me on news, I made Black Enterprise, I made Success Magazine, I made Entrepreneur.
That's telling me that I gotta change people I'm dealing with. Whether it's wife, family, kids, whatever.
If you go to jail and you're incarcerated for doing something wrong, and they take you away from the community for so long, and then split you right back into it. If you're out there without any type of social skills or survival tactics, how are you going to be expected to succeed? Well, out of all my time of being incarcerated, I've never had this experience. I've never had other guys that was incarcerated that has become entrepreneurs, role models. I've never ran into you guys. Hope. I would describe this workshop that's going on with you guys as hope.
The reentry workshop today, I think it was really good. Everybody was so captivated by what was going on. I probably could have told the CEOs, like, you know, go have a seat.
The reentry tour that we just did was phenomenal. All it takes is that spark. That is our jobs as leaders and speakers, is to empower them. And that sparking that is going to make them want to change, you know? So that's the best opportunity. You guys did phenomenal. You're interactive, you are real with them. And I think that we need more people like you doing that, because that's the only way for them to relate.
What would be one word to describe this journey?
Heartache.
Enriching.
Gratitude.
Unapologeticness.
Hope.
Elevating. Passion.
Resilience.
I say transformation.
Determination.
Intention.
My word is compassion.
Rebirth.
Intentional.
It's bigger than just walking down your probation and parole. It's changing your mindset, lifestyle, and never returning to prison again. It's the reentry journey with Cardell Sims.
All right, man. Welcome to another episode of the Reentry Journey. I am your host, Cardell Sims. And before we get started on today's episode, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor and let you know that this episode is brought to you by I'm So. That's right. Inspire, motivate, and support others. Shout out to DJ David Walker and the I'm So team. And if you're looking to get the I'm So merch and I'm So brand, go to I'mSoBrand.com.
So is an acronym for inspire, motivate, and support others. Also, I'm so in the dictionary or English terms is to a great extent, beyond normal. And I took that and spun it in a positive way to make it to where everything you do is extra. Everything you do is above average. It's going hard, is striving to be the very best version of yourself.
All right, man, we back with another episode of the Reentry Journey. I am, Cardell Sims here, man. Today, our guest is, spent 19 years incarcerated, had a few trips, but it's bigger than them trips, right? He's going through some things, and we're going to shine the light on today's episode. We shining the light on Carceral Control. and firsthand, he's going through it. He's experienced. He's going through it still, and I wanted to bring it to the forefront. So, welcome to the reentry journey. No other than this brother, Mr. Greg Robinson. Welcome to the reentry journey.
Appreciate that, brother. Thanks for having me on.
And so before we get to start and getting into and talking about and digging deep into the carceral control, just give a little background about your story. Let the people know who you are and the things that you've been facing and how we got to the point to where we're here today to really break down this carceral control.
My name is Greg. I just turned 50 last year, and in spite of the fact I experienced a lengthy sentence in federal prison for crack cocaine, and I was sentenced to 10 years of supervised release. In other words, probation. Same thing as parole. And I've been home since 2020, so it's been over 3.5 years I've been on probation. And the topic carceral control, I actually just learned that word not too recently, reading an article dealing with federal supervision from a couple of professors out east. And basically,
Okay.
yeah, and basically carceral is like a form of prison or jail, a form of actually a sense of control. And interesting word, man, interesting word. And
So we
today I basically was just wanting to touch on how the system, even though you had paid your debt to society, being incarcerated in prison, jail, or whatever the case may be, and you get released and you have some type of supervision, whether if it's parole or probation, it's all the same thing because you're being monitored by an individual where you basically still got handcuffs on you. You limited. And I've been dealing with this for over 3.5 years, like I said, and I just recently submitted a letter to the courts because I'm entitled to that. That's law that you can submit a motion or a letter to the courts and ask for early termination. And I did that. So here I am, considering that I just got denied last year. And I just want to elaborate on my situation.
okay. And so you've been on probation. You've been on federal probation for 3 years. Um, when you went to federal prison, it was under the old crack law,
Correct.
right? And for those that don't understand, when we talk about the old crack law, we're saying that that was the ratio where you was getting sentenced to 100-to-1 ratio.
Exactly.
And now, even though it should be 1-to-1, but now it's 18-to-1. Still unfair, but it's not 100-to-1. But you was sentenced under the 100-to-1 ratio law.
Yeah, I was sentenced up under the 101 law, and I bear witness on how they tampered and played with that law over the years. And eventually they made it to 18-to-1. Like you just said, it's still an imbalance. And
Yeah.
anybody that's in tune with that law, that law was clearly designed for a particular race, and the African American race. Statistics shows that. And even when President Obama was in office, he even I read it in black and white in the Ebony magazine, where he said that law was draconic and it was race based. Whether it's the Senate Commission and other politicians, they was in full agreement. But I was sentenced up under that law, 100-to-1 ratio, and it's just a sad affair on how to this day, and it's an imbalance. And I actually never reaped the benefits on how some individuals did over the years when they changed that law, because I was sentenced as a career offender for past convictions that I paid my debt to society for, and they used that to enhance my sentence and put stipulations on my sentences, whereas I wasn't entitled to that relief. So I had to do all my time, man.
Oh
They sent,
man.
yeah,
So
they
they
sent
so
me
you got hit with the career criminal. That's all. That's
exactly,
an automatic enhancement, and most of the time it's a mandatory minimum to come with that.
exactly. And what's crazy is now I just read early this week they're making changes with that now with this career offender enhancement.
Yeah, they do because I remember. I mean, they need to because I remember when I was fighting my case when they came and picked us up. One of my homies was in the pile with us, and he went to plead out. And in the feds, you plead out. They want you to plead. You plead out, and they say you plead out to hopefully your plea out is going to be around what they think your numbers going to return to in your PSI. So they think that you probably going to fall in between the 54 to 77-month range. They want to get you to plead out and say, okay, we'll plead out to this range. But what happened to my partner when he got his PSI back? He got it career enhanced, career criminal enhanced. And
Right.
they ended up having to give him 10 just off top. And the judge was like, I really don't want to give it to you, but because I have to under the law, the career criminal enhancement law, you got to at least get the mandatory minimum of 10 years.
Yeah. And that's something, man. That's how this was designed, to break up, really to break up the black family, man. A lot of guys, man, got thrown away in the system for small amounts, of crack cocaine, man, and left, these sisters out here raising these kids. And
Man.
this is one of the main reasons why this generation is the way it is. They really don't have no respect for elders. Their morals and values is not as up to par as it was, as whereas you or I was being raised. All this was designed.
Right.
Uh, and it's just a sad affair. But this is reality. Just like how this control with this supervision is reality.
Yeah, I want
It's
you to
going.
talk about that as well because they gave you 10 years of supervision.
That don't even seem real, man.
Nah,
I
nigga,
mean,
nah. 10 years?
sad, yeah, 10 years. Sad to say, uh, I know individuals, man, that then, had, murder cases, man, and do 2, 3 years and they are parole. My case was a nonviolent case. It was just drugs involved, no violence or nothing. And in 2019, when Trump was in office, he actually passed the First Step Back bill, which a lot of guys that had them life sentences for just drugs only, they was able to get some relief. And the only relief that I received from that legislation was them knocking off 2 years of my supervision. So that's a sign right there that tell you that they knew that federal supervision it was too harsh.
Exactly.
It was too harsh. So I was stuck with 8 years, and like I say, I've been home 3.5 years and been on probation for that long, and I still got 4.5 years left. It just don't seem real.
And what's it been like since you've been home dealing with the probation?
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you. I will say this here before I get off into far as the challenges and the adversities. One thing I known about the probation system that I really didn't know is that their whole mentality and focus is to simply supervise you. They don't really take the initiative and the hands-on approach to interact with their clients as far as doing social work, getting involved, helping them to deter from going back, to prison, or sharing resources and things in that nature. A person will actually have to take the initiative themselves, man, and
Right.
that's what I come to learn. That's what I have done. Quite a few of my buddies, they get out, back in prison, and it's like it's a trap. It's a trap, and it's set up. But being on probation for these few years uh, like I say, they had the resources, but they really don't share them with you. You have to really navigate and network yourself and find them resources yourself. And
You say they just more concerned on checking in on you. Make sure you get in there and drop UA and all that. They don't care about the real help you need. This ain't helping me. Coming in, happening to come in like this, and then dropping UAs, and that's all you concerned because I got bigger issues than that.
exactly, exactly. And just think about it, man. For over 3 years, I got to send in monthly reports. Um, I have to be present for home visits. If I want to travel, they give you a guide. They give you a outline of the state you're in on how far you can travel, and if you travel outside that, whatever, you got to get permission. So every time I want to take a trip, a travel, I got to check in, and put a request in.
Hey,
Ain't no.
before you go any further, so I didn't mean to cut you off because that's important. You said that because when you're talking about the travel, I want people to understand we ain't talking about traveling out of state. We're talking about traveling out the district in the state that you're in. Like in Missouri,
Exactly.
I couldn't go from Kansas City to St. Louis while I was on federal probation because they was two different districts without getting permission. Even though we in the same state, I couldn't
Yeah.
go to St. Louis, which is probably a 5 hour drive from where I live at, without getting permission because we was in two different districts.
Yeah. Ain't that something, bro?
That's crazy. I remember when they told me that, they showed me the little map, but we had three sections. We got the like a western southern district, then you had a southern district, and you had the eastern district. And they say anytime you go to these two districts in the state, you have to get a pass and to go. I said I ain't leaving the state. They said no, you leaving the district.
Exactly. And they know that an individual that come from that lifestyle in the streets, got that criminal mentality, the average individual eventually gonna try their hand. Well, man, I'm gonna just slide over here and not even report, man, and get on back. Anything can happen, and they know this here. So just to be put in that position, knowing that you got to request to travel, be present for home visits, monthly reports. If they want to drop you when they want to drop you, far as UAs and things of that nature. Man, it's just real harsh, man, knowing that a length of time that I have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I took the initiative to request early termination.
Okay. And what was the result of requesting early termination? Reason why I'm asking because I requested an early termination, and not only that it shut me down, it's crazy because just the other day I ran across that paperwork and I read it again. Not only did the judge shut me down, but he went with what my PO recommended. I ain't had no violations, none of that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why is the PO recommended? I got 3 years probation. Here it is, 2 years. I don't walk down, no violation, no nothing. I'm trying to get an early termination, and the PO went against it. And so, since the PO went against it, the judge went against it.
Yep, it's mind boggling. It's mind boggling when a person is out here doing the right thing. They done made a transition, a change, law abiding citizen, and you still fighting this frame, And this the only thing I can think of is this is why the governor of Illinois, he just passed a bill last year dealing with parole and probation. Politicians know it's real harsh. The individuals is not really given the tools and the resources they need to stay free. Small technicalities for dirty drives and things of that nature, they'll send you back. It's in black and white, you know. This interview will be probably over an hour long, bro. Some of the information I have to share, so I'm gonna try to just break it down.
Okay.
But I was denied. I was denied, and it's amazing what they state why I was denied. First, they use a case law stating that just because an individual have good behavior does not make them entitled for early termination. When I read that, it put something on my mind. And I come to the conclusion of this here, Cardell, that isn't our bad behavior the reason why we ended up in prison? Our bad choices and our bad behavior. So if a person make a change and turn that around and experience and show good behavior, that should amount for everything. But in the government eyes, it's not enough. And that's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. Now I don't wonder. I mean, what more can you add on to that?
I mean, what more can you add on to it? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And if that's the case, if they feel that that's not enough, why don't they create a program or some type of scenario where a person can do other things that could show where you know whether for a talent or a skill they may have or just whatever, getting involved or any type of activities or whatever the case may be, you know.
Kind of like a criteria say, if you do these things, or if you complete these things, or if you act in this manner, it can be a number of things where you got to do something. Part
Point
of your
system or
behavior,
something.
like a points, like they got the point system for you when you catch a case. They should be able to have a point system for you to say, okay, if you reach this point system, then you're off for supervision. We're gonna
Exactly.
release you from supervision. I like that idea, man. That's a great idea right there.
Yeah, that's a real good idea, bro. And man, I just that's why I feel that it's just really designed. A person got to really have it in their heart, man, just to really want to stay out here and do what's right and be a law-abiding citizen because it's really designed to set up for failure. And that's why a lot of cats, man, get out and go back to the joint, man. Society is fair. Society is fair because the average individual, when they get out, they'll have good intentions, even though some may already know what they're gonna do. But some individuals really want to strive to stay out. But when they get out, after so long, they let their guards down. They get back comfortable. And then certain circumstances gonna permit them. The devil works in more ways than one. He plays on your weakness. And man, listen, I didn't seen it, I didn't experienced it. After a person get out for so long, they let their guards down, they get back comfortable, and then they find themselves having those same thoughts and desires, and boom, they back doing the same thing.
And that's crazy because we know for a fact the more years that go by, the higher the recidivism rate goes up. So we know within 3 years is 64%, within 5 years is 78%, within 9 years is 83% chance to get 83% of those that get out would be rearrested. So in 9 years. So when you give someone 8 years probation, that's basically saying we know you got an 80% chance of messing up, and we're gonna give you these 8 years because we know through statistics is you'll be back. We're gonna be able to send you back and possibly start that probation all the way back over.
A lot of times it happen like that. Yes, sir.
It's crazy, crazy game.
Yes, sir.
Carceral control.
Yep. So they used that case law to show that me just having good behavior, no violations, and things of that nature, there's amount to me being granted early termination. And then they further state that because I just got my CDL license, and I put that in my letter showing that, it would permit me to travel where I could, become more financially stable. But they tried to flip the script and say that was my whole sole purpose of submitting early termination. No, I'm trying to get off period because it's a hindrance.
Yeah,
And
most definitely. And
so this,
yeah,
go ahead.
that's crazy, man. I don't want.
Cool.
It's crazy. Like, even if that was, it's a positive thing. Even if it
Positive thing.
was, it's a positive thing. It's going to allow me to go and take care of myself financially. I don't have to worry about getting in the streets. I'm going to be on the road working, and I got my behavior shows for itself. Cause y'all noticed that when you said from the beginning, good behavior alone. Now I come with the CDL, you saying that's my sole purpose. Okay, you act like this. They acting like, man, that shit makes me mad, boy. That shit gets me. That's crazy.
Real quick, I'm gonna read what the government said. Uh, it says it is commendable that Robinson appears to be doing well on supervised release. Nonetheless, the conduct of a defendant necessary to justify early termination should include something more than just following the rules of supervision, like we was talking about earlier. The reason cited by Robinson for early termination of his supervised release, being in the process of obtaining his CDL license, does not warrant early termination. He notes he hopes to obtain his CDL, thereby becoming financially stable and more independent, and as well as being able to travel and see the country. Continuing on supervised release should assist Robinson in these endeavors. I don't know where they get that from.
How?
Not hinder him. In fact, interstate travel may present new challenges for Robinson, whose conviction involving drug trafficking. Continued supervision will assist Robinson in staying on the straight and narrow path while protecting the public from potential further crimes. Imagine that.
That's cold blooded, boy. That's crazy.
That's
It can.
bias.
I'm tripping off the saying that the supervision can assist. What you mean assist? You think? Are you saying that it? But they need to understand if I got the intention to get CDLs to move some dope, whether or not I'm on probation or not, ain't gonna stop me from doing that. So you're not assisting. Only way I can see them saying assisting is they saying it's gonna stop me from making a criminal action because I was in drug trafficking. No, it don't matter if I'm on federal probation or not. If I'm going to want to do something illegal, y'all ain't gonna be able to stop me. How many people is on federal probation that caught a new case or went back
Exactly.
into the game? The probation don't assist you. So yeah,
Exactly.
they on that. They on that. More and more you more and more you speak about it. It's just like you said, man. It's carceral control, man.
Carceral control, bro. Just by me, that's stereotyping, being biased, and everything else. Just because I got a drug trafficking case and I got my CDLs, that could potentially make me want to try my hand again on trafficking drugs. So being on supervised release will help me deter from having them type of thoughts in the side. Man, that's foolish, man. That's foolish.
Man, you better off just saying we
This,
don't. They be better off at just saying we don't want to let you off.
man, cut and dry. Because this here is like this here is saying like, man, we gonna But I'm lost for words, man. You know, because I knew I was a good candidate, man, to get off early termination. Some guys get it. You know, it just depends on the different type of judge you have. Some judges is lenient than others. That's a lot of people don't realize that's a big part. But today I'm putting emphasis on this, Cardell, because individuals, man, you know, getting caught up in the loop, man, and trying to beat the system and play the field, man. These people ain't playing fair, man. I learned years ago, man. I asked the brother that knew law, man, as far as case law and things of that nature, because I never could understand it. When we break the law, it's like, you know, they're gonna exercise their laws and policies, but when they break the law or do something wrong, and we go to file and exhaust our remedies and use our rights, they look at us like, man, what is you doing? As if like we don't have no rights, we don't have nothing coming, so accept it and run with it. And that's a cold demonstration, and just an example of this here.
A big example, and that's and that and you right. That's exactly how they treat you. Like they tell you don't got no rights whether you locked up or on supervision. You got privileges. That's the
Exactly.
thought process. I done heard that. I done heard that so many times, filing IRs and grievances and everything else. And Miss Sims, all this, but only right you got is us to house you, feed you. Everything else is a privilege.
Yeah.
See.
So I feel for the individuals, man, that don't have a clue what they getting themselves into. I come up under this, they definitely don't have to worry about me no more, you know. And I changed years ago when I was incarcerated, you know, and
And you said you've been doing some research about it. That's how you found out about the term carceral control. What have you found out? What have you learned about any type of how they starting to view supervision, probation, and parole? The views on supervision.
oh man, it's been I say the past year, probably the past couple years, but last year it's been heavy in the news dealing with politicians because they realize they locking up people that really shouldn't be back in prison for a minor violation like a dirty drop, driving without license, or things of that nature, missing a meeting or missing an appointment, you know, and they realizing that. Like I was telling you, that's why the governor out of Illinois, and you got other governors and states, they jumping on board too. They passing laws to not be so strict pertaining to that. As far as federal supervision, dealing with the federal government, I don't think they took no action yet regarding that. This is just really on the state level. And you got like high powered organizations like Reform Alliance that's backed up by Jay-Z, Meek Mill, and you know,
I just crazy you say that name because I right before this interview I just seen where they named my boy Wallow the
okay,
CMO of Reform Alliance.
okay,
And so
yes sir,
that's a good look. That's a good look right there. And they all and
yeah,
they address it. They address that them probation and parole stipulations and violations. They address that a lot because it's a problem.
yeah.
It's
It's
I
a
got
problem.
in the state. I got violated. I got sent back to prison one time in the state for association.
It don't surprise me.
And one of the people's name that was under my association list, because they said it was a lot of names, but the thing is, everybody in my neighborhood and on my block, there was young black males would live next door to each other across the street or down the street, had been to prison or had a felony. So if I'm walking down the
Right,
street, cousins or whatever, it's automatically association. One of the names of the people
right.
they had me under association to violate my parole at the time was my brother.
Mm.
I'm talking my
So
mama,
how can
my mama's other son.
So how can you not associate with him? This your blood,
Man.
you
But
know.
that's the control, because they had the control.
That's the Carceral
That's the
Control.
partial control. We got the control to, and if we feel that you small or big, at any point in time we want to address it and take you out the streets, we got the control to do that. We got the power to do that. We control that.
Yeah.
And the feds is way worse than the state.
Better believe it. They more harsh. They more strict.
Man, I know a couple guys, man, Kansas City. I know a couple guys, couple of homies, man, they PO be following them around. Yeah, I need you to pull over. I'm right beside you. I'm right behind you a couple cars. Go on, pull over at the gas station.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down in front of your house. You ain't here. I need you to pull up to your house. Unnoticed. No appointments. None of that.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is a vicious system, Cardell, and the only way that I can see it changing is individuals that have individuals like me and you, individuals that's very influential, like brothers like Meek Mill, Jay-Z. They getting involved. They brushing shoulders with politicians, and showing good examples.
Mm-hmm.
Showing good examples. This is a good example right here.
Right.
Yeah. Them people gave me 10 years of paper, man, for a nonviolent crime. You got people that got violent crimes, whether it's catching bodies or whatever, slap on the wrist, 2, 3 years, you know what I'm saying? And they scot free. That's the scales of justice is not balanced right there.
Nowhere near balance.
Yeah, it's not balanced right there. And with the letter, that I presented, I actually wrote 2 letters. I presented the first letter for early termination, and then I responded to the. I had to respond
Yeah,
to the
right.
government, man.
Straight up.
Oh man, I wish I could read the letter to you, man. But I just read a piece of it. Is real quick
Okay.
and give you a outline real quick. This is how I closed it. I said federal supervision has solely been based on supervising a prisoner after being released. This approach has not worked. When taking into account the totality of circumstances, such approach in society will not just affect the person at hand, but will affect us all.
Man.
There is a lack of social involvement within the system that could create individuals from becoming receptive to the change and deterring them from doing criminal acts. It is imperative society get rid of this punitive and retributive approach and focus more on rehabilitation, and correctional treatment when it comes to federal supervision. That says it all right there,
Yeah.
man. Their approach has been wrong for quite some time, man. And it just don't affect us. It's gonna trickle down and affect society as a whole.
Right. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, they just, I mean, for real, sometimes you just get at a loss for words, because it's really simple. This ain't this is not hard.
It ain't hard, man. The person gonna get out of prison, do the right thing, or he ain't. And once you see a person doing the right thing, man, let that man be, man, going with his life.
Mm-hmm. Because
Man or woman, women is getting treated like that too, but particularly men, black men at that, men of minority.
yeah, 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 they be honest. They really do. Every step of the way. I had I had uh I ain't have no alcohol. I ain't have no alcohol abuse or anything like that on in my PSI, none of that. And then one of this, so because on federal paper, like in state paper, they say you can't drink, use drugs. On federal paper, it'll say you can't excessively drink, or it might not even say nothing at all. I mean, you can drink, or then it might say you can't drink at all. They had me on a
Right.
10 o'clock curfew, and I couldn't drink at all. I ain't even got nothing drinking, got nothing to do with none of my cases. I ain't got no
Exactly.
DWIs, no DUIs, no nothing. As far as when it comes to drinking and driving, or drinking and criminal or whatever.
Right. Right.
And so they thought, and that's part of the play too. They put all these stipulations on you as well, hoping that you, and really not hoping, most of the time knowing that you're gonna violate one of them
One of them.
stipulations. If you got 10 of them, they
Yeah.
know it's a big percentage, 90-something percent, that you're gonna violate one of them.
Yeah. That's a real good point you just made. It's so many stipulations in federal supervision. They know that it's highly likely that you violate one of them. And this is why these laws is changing, but it hasn't changed on the federal level yet. And I don't know if it is or not, but it needs to be because, like you just said, federal supervision is way stricter than state.
Way stricter. And they got to start doing something, because even in Missouri, when I was going, when I was doing my Missouri time and I was on parole in Missouri early in the early 2000s and stuff like that, they was harsh. They kind of like how the feds is. They want to send you back for any and everything. Uh,
Right.
but it became an issue, and they changed their whole system. Now if you get a violation, they can't send you back. You got to go through like a process. You got to go back in front of the judge, and do some different things, and you kind of got to almost catch. Really, you got to almost catch a new case to get sent back,
Right.
because they figured out a good system for the probation and parole, instead of just saying any violation you get, or giving you all these stipulations. Any of the stipulations you get, we automatically sending you back, because that they seen that it wasn't solving nothing, it wasn't helping in no way.
It won't help no way. You're not helping no person really sending them back to prison. It's just you just making a cycle, congesting the system. You spending taxpayers' money. It's just it ain't good nowhere around the board. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that man. That it's just, and they, like I said, they make it seem like this is so hard to do, when it really isn't. And so that's why if you can't, not, it's hard to put up an argument to say that it's not carceral control. Like, because it's not hard. This is not hard. You got someone who's 3 years, someone living right for 3 years, working,
Yeah.
doing what they're supposed to do, bettering themselves, getting CDLs, everything else. And you want to sit and tell me because that's not a changed person? That person needs supervision? Nah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. And well as I know, the average individual gonna violate within 18 months to 24 months, couple of
Man,
years.
quicker,
So
even
I mean,
quicker than that. The average,
a lot of
the
times
average.
quicker than that.
I know the 5 guys that was on my case, I was in the feds with. When we all got out within probably a year and a half of each other. Out of
Okay.
5, 3 of them was back within 8 months with
Mm,
violation.
right. Yeah. I already know
No new cases, just
it. Yeah.
straight
I know
violation.
it. Yeah.
They did it
Yeah.
quick too. But man, I ain't talking about, but man, I ain't seen my boy. I ain't heard from my boy. I seen him on social media. Yeah, man, he got violated. What? Yeah, they sent him back. See, he was in the
Yeah,
club. Damn,
yeah,
that's crazy. So, with this journey that you're going, from the crack laws, being sentenced up under the draconian crack laws. To me, this was the biggest thing that detrimental that destroyed our households, black households,
yes, sir.
right? To me, that was the biggest thing that destroyed our households. You know what I'm saying? Not just the crack, but the laws that surrounded the crack, the implementation, then the laws, and then the building of more and more prisons. And
Yes,
so
sir.
this was so from being sentenced under the draconian laws to getting the 10 years probation on top of that, because people don't understand, that's just an extra 10 years on top of your sentence.
Like a
That's what it
sentence.
is. That's just what it
Yep,
is. That's just a 10 extra.
yeah,
That's just 10 years extra on top of the time that I already received. So if I
yeah,
received 19, I actually got 29, and it could
yeah,
be more because if I violated, they could send me down, and the judge say, "Well, we're gonna send you back for 12 months, and then we're gonna release you out and start the 8 and give you 6 years probation or 8 years probation again."
yeah. Started
Started
back
back
all
all
over. I
over.
didn't say it.
And so you got
Yeah, it was confused with that.
that's crazy. I've seen that happen to a few people. And then on top of that, like I got they told me I had 3 years probation. They told me if I can violate it, and even though I just ain't got nothing but 3 years of probation, I can get up to 60 months on the violation for the violation.
Hmm.
And that's the cold part. I ain't got nothing but 3 months for my supervision. So how can I, if I violate my supervision, I can go get 60 months. I can go do 60 months for the violation. And then then turn around and say, when you get out, we can give you 3 more years probation. That's how it actually can go. For those that's watching this and tuning in, that's actually how it can go. You can get 19 years, add the extra 10 years for the probation, so you at 29. You can get out, say you violated, they can go sit you down for 60 months for the violation, and then start that whole 10 years probation back over after you just did 60 months for a violation. And,
Right.
and some of y'all might not believe it, but it happens like that. It does happen a lot.
Definitely
It
do.
happens a lot. So what would be one word to describe that journey, going through that process and dealing with the carceral control of federal supervision? What would be one word that describes that journey from the being sentenced up under that draconian laws and going through that process, and then dealing with everything that you have to deal with now and trying to get released from federal supervision after 3 years of being showing good behavior, showing that you're working, you're doing everything you're supposed to be, you're trying to get your CDLs and everything like that to basically bettering yourself, and they telling you no. What would be one word to describe that journey?
Uh, to keep it 100, man, I would say the struggle.
Mm.
I would say the struggle, man. And I'm free, you know, but I'm free to an extent. I can move, I can eat what I want to eat, I can wear what I want to wear. I got my own money in my pocket. I can build good relationships. But I'm still not fully free. So I'm still dealing with the struggle.
Mm.
Them people, like you just said, I can a person can come through, don't even know he an ex-felon, or I can give a person a ride. He might have some drugs or a pistol on him. We get stopped on a humbug and boom, because on your you know this here, on your monthly report, it will ask you, have you ever had any encounters with law enforcement? Have you ever I mean, have you been around of any ex-offenders? You know, they saying that all these here is violations, is stipulations of your supervised release. So, you know, man, I'm still up under the struggle, man. You know, and I'm human. You know, it can be stressful at times. It can become frustrating. You know, the last time I had a home visit, I was late for work because I had to wait on my PO to have so I can be present for my home
That's
visit.
crazy.
You know, I'm miss, I'm missing my money. You know, but they don't look at it like that. But yeah, all this was designed, Cardell, and you made a statement, man. On you know, they sent a lot of people back, and all these prisons they didn't build. Just last week, I read where the BOP is in a crisis right now with understaffed. They short of staff. Well, I wonder why. You know, they didn't build all these prisons, you know, and it's still a hundred some thousand plus prisoners throughout the country. You know, they got case managers and food service staff members working in housing units just to, to cover, to monitor guys and stuff, man. It's crazy, man. You know, you want to send a person back for a technicality of a minor infraction of a violation and congest the system. That's why this is a big topic right now. It's been going on for a while, but like I said, on the federal level, they ain't done that yet.
Right, yeah, they ain't done nothing yet. So this is the opportunity. Before we get off here, I'm gonna give you this the opportunity. If you could say something, because I know some, this, on LinkedIn, especially when it's air, I got some federal probation people on my that follow me. I got people, you know what I'm saying, working the feds that follow me, stuff like that. Let let them know. Basically, you know what I'm saying. This is your opportunity. I'm giving you the floor to let them know from your perspective what needs to be done and what needs to be changed. It need to be better.
But just like I put in my letter when I closed it, man, to the government, you know, also going back to the governor signing that this bill, the federal government should focus on this. I'll say this here real quick, what the governor states. He says, for too long, individuals have been deprived of support and resources needed to successfully re-enter our communities after incarceration. These reforms are critical steps to infuse humanity into our legal system so people have the groundwork to reach their full potential. And like I said in my letter, you know, federal probation has simply been just supervision. They need to get socially involved, you know, interact with guys and women, you know, and help them, deter them from actually backsliding into that lifestyle. You know, a lot of people, man, they really ain't trying to go back to prison, but a lot of times when you're back getting to the wall, it's like, you know, that's when the survival of the fittest come out. You know, and a person, in so many words, that's like, man, I got to get out how I live. It's just a blessing that I have not. I've been in that position, but I still stayed on the right path, man. And I just stuck it out. Especially when you got the credit of the Most High in your midst, He gonna find a way for you, you know.
Sure
And
will.
for brothers and sisters that's locked up, man, I hope they can pay attention to this video and show, man, with the Most High, anything is possible. And people is gonna be willing to help you along the way if you helping yourself. You got some good people out here, you know what I'm saying, that's willing to help you. You know, you just got to stay on that path. because the devil, he's like a God himself. He's going to prey on your weaknesses. He's going to put things in front of you and hope, you fall victim to your circumstance, and a lot of times that happens, but you can overcome that. I'm a prime example. I'm sure you're a prime example, and man, it definitely can happen, bro.
Yeah, it sure can. It definitely can happen. Um, Mr. Robinson, man, we appreciate you being on the reentry journey, sharing your story and the struggles that you're going through being on federal probation, because it really needed to be highlighted. A lot of people are going to relate to this. I know for a fact. And I just want to say thank you for coming on the reentry journey, sharing your story, and sharing what you're going through, trying to get off federal probation. It really means a lot to
Yes,
me,
sir.
and it's going to mean a lot to those that's going to tune in and see this episode. Um, you got any final words before we head out?
No, final words is I just appreciate you having me on. And this is my first time being on the podcast. And I can see myself continue this journey, man, exposing this topic for discussion that really need to be heard.
Yeah, man. You can
I
open up.
appreciate
Shoot, you might start your podcast around it. Hey, I mean, because I feel like this. This is why I started my podcast. Because everything you see about reentry and everything on TV and stuff is some bullshit. To be honest with you, inmate,
Right.
inmate the lockup, the love, and all of this stuff. Inmate, the roommate, and all of this stuff.
Foolish.
No, I wanted to highlight those who's going through the real struggles of reentry, the real reentry journey, the things that you're gonna have to go through and the things that you're going to be faced with. And that probation and supervision is one of the biggest things, because if in the sense, if you're not in the line with the motives and what your PO is on and what your PO is on, your ass is going to get sent back regardless if you in the right
Yeah.
or you in the wrong. And
Yeah.
that needs to be highlighted, and it needs to be a light shined up on it, because in our field and what we're doing, it seems like only time something gets done is when a light gets shined on it. Then it's kind of like a force
Got to
play.
shine that light, bro. Got to shine that light, bro.
You got to shine it.
Straight up.
So, man, I thank you for even shining the light, because I had a lot of guests that been on here, and a lot of them haven't really locked in on what the reality on supervision. And it's there.
Yeah.
A lot of people fall to federal supervision daily, and it don't be new cases.
Right. Don't be new cases, just
Violations.
violations.
So once again, thanks for being a guest on the reentry journey, Mr. Robinson. I wish you well in your journey, and anything that I can do or anything that anyone in my network can do, feel free to reach out to me, and I can make some connections and see what, maybe there's another step or what. But I don't never want to
Yes,
say
sir.
there ain't no hope, because there always is.
Right.
So just feel
Yeah,
so just feel
hope.
free to reach out
It's
to me,
definitely
because
hope.
like you said, your creator, you know what I'm saying, that high power, that creator, he's gonna open up a way when he wants that way to be opened up. Can't nobody stop that. And so
Yeah. Just stay on the right path. Can't nobody
exactly.
stop that. I appreciate you, bro, for
Thank you
having me
for
on.
being a guest. And for those of you tuned in, especially those on the inside, I'm gonna leave you with what I always leave you with. Don't let the limitations of your background reduce the height of your potential. Outgrow what you were born into.
Ooh.
To be successful, always trust the process. No matter what. The obstacles come, trust the process. The PO and them was tripping, trust the process. Don't ever throw yourself out of the process and allow them to have a real reason to put you back in. This is another episode of the Reentry Journey. I'm Cardell Sims. This is Mr. Greg Robinson. Until next time, we will see you when we see you, and we're out. The Reentry Journey. What would be one word to describe this journey?
Heartache.
Enriching.
Gratitude.
Unapologeticness.
Hope.
Elevating. Passion.
Resilience.
I say transformation.
Determination.
Intention. My word is compassion.
Rebirth.
Intentional.
It's bigger than just walking down your probation and parole. It's changing your mindset, lifestyle, and never returning to prison again. It's the reentry journey with Cardell Sims.